Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving into a totally fascinating new dimension of the Spanish language. Up until now, you've probably spent most of your time hanging out in what we call the indicative mood. That's where we state facts, describe real events, things that are definitely happening. But today we are stepping into the realm of emotions, of doubts, and of desires. So let's jump right into this explanator on Encountering Spanish, the subjunctive mood. Think of this as the wishful thinking mood of Spanish. It's incredibly powerful, and honestly, by the end of our time together, you're going to be using it like a total pro.
Here's our quick roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with 1. The wishful thinking mood, 2. The subjunctive formula, 3. How to form it, 4. Irregular verbs in practice, 5. The history of ojalá, and finally number 6. A wonderful Spanish secret.
All right, Section 1. The wishful thinking mood. Let's just take a second to contrast these two very different worlds. Over on the left, we have the indicative mood. This is your comfort zone, real events, hard facts. For example, Estudio mucho. I study a lot. Boom, that is the fact. But check out the right side. When you want to express a desire or a hope about what someone else is doing, you enter the subjunctive mood. Notice how the whole vibe of the sentence changes. You say, quiero que estudies. I want you to study. See the difference? You aren't stating that they are currently hitting the books. You're expressing your wishful thinking that they will do it. Now, the absolute best way to get a real feel for this new mood is to simply hear it in action. So I'm going to read these 5 examples. I'll say each one clearly in Spanish, give you a beat to echo it right back to me, and then I'll drop the English translation. Let's practice. Quiero que estudies más. I want you to study more. Es importante que hables con tu maestra. It's important that you speak with your teacher. Espero que tú aprendas mucho. I hope that you learn a lot. Ojalá que tengamos clase afuera. I hope, or God willing, that we have class outside. Es necesario que practiquemos todos los días. It's necessary that we practice every day.
Moving right along to Section 2, the subjunctive formula.
Okay, so you might have noticed a pattern in those last examples. Every single subjunctive sentence of this type relies on this exact formula. You start with a trigger phrase, plus the word que, plus a new subject, plus the subjunctive verb. The absolute crucial point here is that the first person wants, needs, or hopes something about a completely different person's action. And that little word que, which just means that, it acts as the bridge connecting your desire over to their action.
But to use that formula, you're gonna need some triggers, right? Here are your 5 most common triggers to get that subjunctive ball rolling. Feel free to repeat these out loud with me. Quiero que, I want that, or I want you to. Es importante que, it's important that. Espero que, I hope that. Ojalá que, I hope or God willing that. And finally, es necesario que, it's necessary that. All right, Section 3. How to form it. So building a regular subjunctive verb is literally as easy as following a simple 3-step recipe. Step 1. Just take the yo form of the present indicative. That's your normal, everyday I form, like hablo or como. Step 2. Chop off that o ending at the end of the word. Step 3. Okay, this is the brilliant part. You add what we call the opposite vowel endings. What does that mean? Well, if you have an R verb, you're going to swap it and use E endings. If you have an AR or IR verb, you're going to flip it and use A endings. It's just this elegant little flip of the vowels. Section 4. Irregular verbs and practice. Now don't panic, but here are the 5 most important irregular subjunctive forms. You simply need to memorize these, but honestly, they are so incredibly common that you'll get tons of exposure to them very quickly. Let's hear them. For the verb ser, the form is se. For ir, it becomes vaya. For dar, it's de. For estar, it becomes esté. And for saber is sepa. Oh, and a super quick note here. For most other verbs, if they happen to have a stem change in their normal present tense yo form, they're going to keep it right here in the subjunctive. So conocer becomes conozca, decir becomes diga, and poder becomes pueda. Makes sense, right? And check this out. This brilliantly illustrates our opposite vowel trick in action for the regular verbs. Take a look at hablar, which is an R verb. Instead of an A, you see E's all the way down. Hable, hables, hable, hablemos, hablen. Now look over at comer and escribir. They both take the opposite A endings. Coma, comas, coma, and escriba, escribas, escriba. The recipe just works beautifully across the board. Okay, let's actually put our recipe to work in some full sentences. Once again, I'm going to read the Spanish, pause for a second so you can repeat it out loud, and then I'll give you the English meaning. Here we go. Quiero que tú hables más despacio. I want you to speak more slowly. Es importante que ella coma frutas y verduras. It's important that she eat fruits and vegetables. Espero que nosotros escribamos una carta bonita. I hope we write a nice letter.
Almost done. Section 5, the history of Ojalá.
So, the word ojalá has a truly fascinating origin story. It actually comes directly from the Arabic phrase inshallah, which translates to if God wills it. You see, Arabic was spoken in Spain for over 700 years, from the year 711 all the way to 1492. Because of this massive shared history, literally hundreds of Spanish words come straight from Arabic. So whenever you say a phrase like ojalá que llegues pronto, I hope you arrive soon, you are voicing a word that connects centuries of human history. I just think that's so cool. It makes it one of the absolute most expressive words in the entire language.
And finally, Section 6, a wonderful Spanish secret.
Okay, I promised you a confidence boost, and here it is. Let's look at how all of this builds on stuff you already know. Do you remember learning negativo do commands way back in Chapter 16? Look over on the left side. The negative command, no hables tanto. Don't speak so much. Now look at the right side, at our brand new subjunctive. Quiero que hables más. I want you to speak more. Notice the verb there? Hables and hables? They are exactly the same. The wonderful secret of Spanish is that these new subjunctive endings look completely identical to the negativo do commands you have already mastered. The only real difference is the context you use them in. It's basically a familiar face, just wearing a new name. You've had this skill all along.
So there you have it. You already have all the tools you need to express your hopes, your dreams, and your recommendations in Spanish. You've officially unlocked the subjunctive mood, you've tackled that opposite vowel recipe, and you even learned the ancient history behind the word ojalá. So my final question to you today is simply this. If the subjunctive was hiding in plain sight all along, what other secrets of Spanish history and grammar are waiting for you to discover? Keep studying, keep practicing out loud, and definitely stay curious. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.